Beatriz, the school principal who loved her job. Beatriz woke up early every morning with a smile. She opened her window and looked at the rising sun. Birds were singing outside, and the sky was turning blue. She stretched her arms and said, "Another beautiful school day." Beatriz was the principal of a local public elementary school. She loved children, teachers, and the energy of the school. Every day, she felt happy to do her important work. She brushed her teeth and prepared a healthy breakfast for herself. She drank some orange juice and ate a banana and toast. Then she put on her favorite dress and comfortable black shoes. Beatriz always dressed in a professional and kind-looking way. She wanted to show respect for her students and teachers. At 7 a.m., she left home and drove to school. She listened to calm music during her short morning drive. At 7:20 a.m., she parked and walked to the entrance. Several students were already waiting outside with happy, excited faces. Beatriz greeted each child with a smile and kind words. "Good morning. I'm so happy to see you today." The students smiled back and waved to their favorite principal. At 7:30 a.m., the school doors opened and students entered. Beatriz stood near the entrance and greeted every student personally. She believed the beginning of the day was very important. After the last student entered, Beatriz walked to her office. Her office was small but full of books and bright colors. There were drawings from students on the walls and happy quotes. She turned on her computer and checked her emails quickly. Then she looked at the schedule for the entire school day. There was a teacher meeting at 9 a.m. in the library. There was a parent meeting at 11:30 a.m. before lunchtime. She also planned to visit 3 classrooms during the afternoon. At 8 a.m., the school bell rang to begin the day. She walked through the hallways to see if all was well. Teachers were starting their lessons and students were calm and focused. She smiled and felt proud of the school she led. At 8:45 a.m., she returned to her office to prepare. She took her notebook and walked to the school library. At 9 a.m., teachers arrived and sat around the big table. Beatriz stood in front and said, "Thank you for your work." She talked about new ideas to help students learn better. She also listened to the teachers' suggestions and their concerns. Beatriz believed that good communication made a strong and happy team. The meeting ended with laughter and plans for the next week. At 10 a.m., she visited the first grade classroom for observation. The students were reading a story and drawing their favorite parts. Beatriz sat in the back and watched with a soft smile. The teacher asked questions, and the students answered with great enthusiasm. Beatriz wrote notes and left a sweet thank you note later. At 11 a.m., she returned to her office for phone calls. She spoke to a parent about a student's progress in reading. The parent thanked her for the support and regular communication. At 11:30 a.m., a group of parents arrived for the meeting. They sat in a circle and Beatriz welcomed them warmly. She talked about upcoming school events and classroom volunteer opportunities. The parents were happy to participate and asked many questions. Beatriz made sure they felt heard and respected by the school. At 12:15 p.m., she went to the cafeteria for lunch. She didn't eat in her office, she liked the students. The children waved at her and said, "Hi, Principal Beatriz." She laughed and said, "Eat well and enjoy your lunch." She sat with a group of students and asked about classes. One student said, "We are learning about the planets and space." Beatriz listened carefully and shared a fun fact about the moon. At 1 p.m., it was time to visit more classrooms again. She went to a second-grade classroom where students were doing math. Beatriz saw that the teacher was using games to teach numbers. The students were smiling and learning while playing with colorful cards. Beatriz praised the teacher and said, "Great job keeping it fun." At 2 p.m., she returned to her office for quiet time. She used this moment to write thank you cards for teachers. She believed that showing appreciation made the school stronger and happier. She also planned next week's activities and checked the school calendar. At 3 p.m., the final bell rang and classes ended for students. Beatriz stood near the gate to say goodbye to everyone. She gave high fives, hugs, and encouraging words to the children. "See you tomorrow. I'm proud of your hard work today." At 3:30 p.m., most students had gone home with parents or buses. The school became quieter and the hallway slowly emptied of noise. Beatriz sat at her desk and reflected on the whole day. She felt tired but deeply happy with everything she had done. She thought about how lucky she was to lead the school. She remembered a student who smiled more today than last week. She remembered a teacher who tried a new method with success. She remembered a parent who felt peace after their conversation. Each moment, each detail, was part of something beautiful and big. At 4 p.m., she closed her computer and turned off the lights. She walked through the silent hallways, looking at the colorful walls. The student art and kind messages made her smile once again. She whispered, "Good night, school. Thank you for another lovely day." At 4:30 p.m., she drove home under the soft golden sky. She listened to music and thought about tomorrow's joyful possibilities. Beatriz arrived home and changed into comfortable clothes and soft slippers. She made a warm cup of tea and sat on her couch. Her cat jumped beside her and purred softly against her leg. She opened a book and began reading about education and leadership. Even at home, she loved learning and becoming a better leader. At 7 p.m., she called her sister to talk and laugh. They talked about childhood memories and stories from Beatriz's school life. Her sister said, "You were born to do this, my love." Beatriz smiled and said, "I feel that every single day." At 9 p.m., Beatriz got ready to sleep and rest well. She brushed her teeth and prepared her clothes for the morning. She wrote in her journal about the best moments today. Finally, she turned off the lights and whispered into the darkness. I am thankful for today. I will do my best tomorrow. Beatriz closed her eyes and dreamed about her school and students. Her heart was full of peace, joy, and deep purpose. The end.